Hey guys, how's it going? Is everybody good? They made me go first. This is brutal. Okay, but one of the things I have to clarify really, really quickly, I am originally from New Brunswick. I am now living 3/4 of the time in Toronto. I still go back and forth, and Alex is 100% right. Most of my time is actually on planes. I don't know where I live anymore, but I've been in Toronto for like 4 days this month, so that feels really, really good, so thank you. The one thing I do want to say is coming from the outside to here, and it's appropriate that I'm at TechTO tonight. I was so nervous coming to spend as much time as I've spent in Toronto, and you guys have just been, with respect, fucking incredible. So a big round of applause for this community. And so I get to talk about some fun things tonight. We can go through this. The thing I really, really want to talk about, we talked about the fact that I've had a really weird transition. We don't have a lot of time, but a weird transition in the last year, really. I came from running a services company, so I've been an entrepreneur now 2 times. I've been in tech companies for a long, long time. But doing this entrepreneurial journey 2 times in a row, I've realized there's some really, really big differences between running a company and running a startup company focused on product. And I wanted to share some of my biggest lessons learned. This is me, this is my dog Walter. I miss him so much. He lives in New Brunswick, so I wanted to give him a shout out today. I'm a recovering publicist. I like to say that because I used to pimp out other people's companies, and now quite frankly, I only care about my own. You guys will understand that. Outside of that, don't challenge me to a dance-off. I will win every time. Unless you know the worm, in which case I lose. Okay, the first thing I've learned in the last little while, and I want to share with you guys, is that when you run another company, you think, and you're pretty connected, like I've had clients, lots of clients in the Toronto area, and so I think what's gonna be super cool is I'm gonna get here, and the red carpet is gonna roll out for me, and I'm gonna get like funding super, super quickly, and my new clients are gonna just like line up, it's gonna be amazing. And I'm an idiot, because that doesn't happen, because there are no shortcuts, and I'm not actually that special. What's special is my product, and what's special is the business, my idea, my co-founder's idea, and what's special is the people that we're adding value for. When you run an agency, you call up a friend that's got a company, and you say like, hey, be my first client. They're like, yeah, okay, I'll throw you a few bucks, and then you've got a paycheck. That doesn't happen in the technology space. You've got to convince like big bad VCs to actually like throw a few bones your way and angels to do it, and that takes a long ass time. So I wanted to just point out how important it is to acknowledge when you're transitioning and you've got this great idea, whether you've run companies before, whether you're an investment banker and you think you've got this like brilliant fintech idea, really take the time to acknowledge that there are no shortcuts. Repable is nearly a year, well I shouldn't say a year, we're about 10 months old. And I'm really happy, like I don't have any official announcements, but things are finally on the financial side starting to come along. It takes time. The other thing I want to talk about is the fact that I'm now a liar and I wasn't a liar before. Okay, and this has been a really, really hard thing. I'm the kind of person, my co-founder Sean's in the room, he'll make fun of me because I don't want to switch bus seats. If I have a ticket that says this seat and then there's like an empty seat that's way better over there, I feel really crappy taking that seat. I'm like, but that's not my seat. I don't want to lie and pretend that's my seat, and that's pretty lame. Now I'm really happy lying and pretending like something's really, really awesome when it isn't. When you're talking to staff and you're trying to get people motivated and really you're super, super stressed out, now you have to really fake it, like really fake it. The best way to articulate it is in a story where Sean and I wanted to meet this VC, but this VC was in Korea. And we get a phone call, a warm introduction to him, and we're on the phone, and he's kind of interested, but like kind of like, well, we'll meet next time we're in San Francisco. When are you next in San Francisco? Oh, 6 months from now. We're like, cool, but we're gonna be in Korea next week. I'm like, what? We're in Korea, and Sean actually says, we're gonna be in Korea next week. And we're like, I'm not going to be in Korea next week, but we flew to Korea because you said yes to the meeting. Talk about faking, that was like a $5,000 fake it till you make it. Okay? And a 3-day return trip to Korea. No, don't do that. There was food poisoning involved, it was awful. The other thing I'll say, and the last point I want to make, is that good enough now kind of has to be good enough sometimes. When you run an agency, when you cater to other people, you realize that you're the expert. So you're the one that comes in, like runs the final mile for people. Today, and most recently, I'm learning, and I'm not great at this every time. I'm not perfect at this, and I'm learning all the time. But 80% is better than not done shipped is, we've heard this all the time, like shipped is better than perfect, done is better than perfect. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that I want to do things perfectly all the time, but sometimes you need to delegate to other people, and you have to understand that 80%, that good enough has to be good enough to get out the door. And so sometimes you ship a product that doesn't look amazing, and that's something that's been definitely a big adjustment for me. And I encourage anyone who's a perfectionist to think long and hard about dumbing down their idea of perfection before they start a product company. And finally, I'll leave you with these parting words. This is something that I struggle with day in, day out, but I'm very, very, very conscientious about trying to remember even in my crappiest day. When you think that you want to start this, you're deciding, like, I'm going to take this dive, I'm going to transition from wherever my past life is to what my new life is going to be, which in my case is starting a product company. It's understanding that even if it's crappy, if you feel particularly driven to do it, if you know that despite all the things that aren't going to be perfect, it's what you're meant to do, don't settle, just go. Just no matter how hard it is, just go, go, go. And that's what I'm trying to do with the inspiration of the amazing people in this amazing community that I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by. So guys, thank you so much. If you want to know more about Repable, please take advantage of checking us out on Twitter. We don't do a ton on Twitter, but would be really, really happy to connect there and reach out. Thanks so much. Questions? Anyone want to know anything about the gaming space? How huge it is? Esports is the fastest growing segment of the entertainment industry right now. What? Dota 2 is insane. You know that the prize pool already for the Invitational is like well over $17 million. One game, one tournament, already over 17 million. Right here. Oh. Oh, it was easy. He asked what our value prop was. So that's a pretty straightforward question.
You got it.
Our value prop is that brands right now are spending, in 2016, they'll spend over $1 billion on competitive gamers. So whether it be live streamers, so people that are playing it for fun, but kind of competitive among themselves or with their peers, or the ones that are actually pros. Like the pro teams competing actually in the LCS, League of Legends summer split finals rather, are going to be held actually here in Toronto in late August. We help brands understand the return on the investment that they're spending in those individuals. So we're helping them actually maximize their dollars.
Thank you.
One last question. Anybody thinking about making the plunge? How do you feel about it?
One question. I was curious. Sorry, at the back.
Hey.
Hello. So Twitch and Amazon got together, and I was wondering the size of that transaction.
Twitch sold to Amazon for just shy of $1 billion, $1 billion with a B.
So it's a big market.
It's a massive market. I would suggest also watching, so Twitch is huge. Twitch right now, there's about 2.5 million broadcasters, so people that are actively seeking attention. There's over, at last count, over 200,000 people actively concurrently watching Twitch on a regular basis, or 200 million rather people actually actively watching on Twitch. Facebook is making a huge play into gaming. And so I would keep my eye on how big and how exponential the increase will be when Facebook really starts to pay attention to gaming too.
Great, thanks.